When I was about 16, I worked at Goodwill for about 6 months. There was this old homeless man who used to try and sneak inside to sleep and stuff like that. Every day he'd get kicked out pretty quick by one of the female co-workers. After about a month of working there with her, the homeless man came up to the counter she was working at, gave her a Target bag filled with rocks and left. We opened the bag and found a doll underneath about a layer of rocks. It was so friggin' creepy. The doll looked exactly like her. We flipped it over and the back had her full name sewn into it. She quit about a couple days later because she was worried that the homeless man was coming back to the store. Thrift shop workers, what are some of the strangest things you found in the donations? I worked in donations, and the same day we got pickled baby tiger shark and a coin purse made from kangaroo scrotum.
Wife worked there as a teenager. Worst thing she found was a newborn baby who'd just passed. A woman high on drugs gave birth in the street, freaked out and dumped her baby there. Wife found the baby, called police, and the woman was arrested for neglect among other charges. Managed to dodge murder charges somehow. That's traumatizing.
A grinder with weed still in it. And somehow a suitcase full of dildos made it onto the floor and was brought to our attention by an elderly lady who was wanting to purchase the suitcase but didn't want the extra stuff inside.
I found a ton of weird stuff. The old ladies I worked with called stuffed animals stuffies, and I always thought it was very strange. Well, one day we get a big box labeled stuffies. They opened it up and it was full of dildos, butt plugs, handcuffs, all kinds of sex toys. I've never heard such a hooting and hollering in all my life.
My aunt's a cop and had to go investigate a donated hand grenade.
Not something I've found, but something very strange. Every month and a half or so, a man would come by right before we closed and would donate a single blank CD. Every single time. My co-workers and I would always put it in and see if anything was on it. There never was. Someone donated an entire trash bag full of dirty diapers. Sex toys. Lots of sex toys. Some older and some more naive. Workers actually priced them and put them on the sales floor. An old electronic chessboard that's somehow worth $2,000. Some rich old lady came in and donated a Ziploc bag full of gold and platinum jewelry. It was real. Huge Beanie Baby collections. Guess someone finally figured out after 20 years that they weren't a solid investment. It's something you hear about, but I never really saw before. Maybe not the strangest, but you could actually find some cool old people think is worthless. Cool job for a while. Dirty laundry. It happened so often that we had to wear gloves to go through clothing. Washed everything at least once to be safe. Who gets don't wearing their underwear and is like, meh, I'll donate it and not wash it.
A classmate of mine found a human skull that was donated. It still had remnants of human on it. They reported it to the police and turns out it was part of an active murder investigation one state over.
A human skull. We named it Billy. Of course the police were called and they came and picked him up. An urn with someone's cremated remains. Happened probably 3 times. Someone once donated live roosters. A little ornate box with about 7 teeth inside. So many unique dildos. Some there's like 50 plus male sword and dagger collection. An 80s cereal collection. Bill and Ted, Count Chocula, Ghostbusters, etc. Roughly 3 full hefty bags of Grateful Dead live shows on cassette. Each labeled and track listed. Shoebox of prison letters to a girlfriend. She was raunchy. I was a stalker, not working directly with donations. But goddamn, so many people donate vibrators. All the way from top of the line Hitachi Magic ones to retro little metal things that look like a Wii remote.
Not a worker, but at the local Salvation Army I opened a drawer and found a used tampon.
I worked in Goodwill at donations, and maybe the most unique thing I found was a framed photo autographed by Stone Cold Steve Austin. I managed one for 3 years. Paddleboat, aquarium with water and fish in it. Hundreds of pounds of birdseed. Thousands of packets of assorted flower and vegetable seeds. 365 copies of Return from Witch Mountain. A friend of mine worked at Goodwill, and someone dropped off a bag of clothes soaked in vomit and cat piss. My mom used to work for Goodwill. She found rather neat items. One time she found $5,000 in someone's old jeans. She was kind enough to return it to the rightful owner. And she found a hand grenade and an old jacket.
What is it with these second-hand hand grenades?
So many weird donations that I won't even get into because y'all won't believe me. But the strangest time was when a young man donated a bag of clothes, and then a small gecko hops out. We were honestly all lost on what to do about the little guy until the donor swings by 1 hour later looking kind of frantic, asking if we seen his lizard. We kind of showed him where it took up residence under the porch used for smoking, and we never saw either of them again. Another time, a woman dropped off a wedding dress and an accordion with no explanation, but she seemed rather upset. What a weird job.
Tampons, new and used, and a camel haircut with $750 in one of the pockets.
I was 16 and in charge of going through donations, pricing them, and putting them out for sale. I came across something I didn't recognize, so I did what I always did and slapped 25 cents on it and put it out. A few hours later, a lady brought it back to my boss in the donation room and told her we shouldn't be selling crack pipes. Oops.
Bargain. I was sorting out some donated items and came across an unusual set of tools. Through some research, we discovered that it was a full transorbital lobotomy tool set. It got donated to a local university for display. Apparently, a vintage set in good condition can sell around $1,000.
Used journals. Highlights include someone recounting the time they bit someone, and a tale of an explosive funeral. I found a full Tommy Lee Jones two-face suit. I look fantastic in it. Only $15. A high school diploma still in its leather case. We were selling it for $1.39. Also a porn movie inside Clifford the Big Red Dog DVD case. I did find a shirt with a huge picture of a dead fly on it.
Finally, a question I can answer. I once found a signed first edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Strange and why anyone would give it away. Managed to buy it for 50p, and honestly, my prized possession today.